hand animation it has to go through, and sometimes in the lag between animations you'll think it hasn't done it and you'll end up switching to the next spell. So I usually just want to stick to one particular spell at a time. And we're seeing some of the awesome effects of the ice bullets. The first part being that, you know, it completely incapacitates, and that's always helpful. The ice bullets themselves do not do a lot of damage, but they do a small bit of damage. You'll see a couple times later on the video where I've unloaded some machine gun bullets and then shot an ice bullet, and that the ice bullet ends up killing the enemy in the end. Some of the combos you'll be seeing with the ice bullets include Freezer, which is just the initial hitting of the ice bullet. Think Ice Duke, which is the ice bullet coupled with the kick. Not sure what that actually means. And you'll see Termination, which is the ice bullets in combination with the machine gun bullets. I tested it out a bit, and it does only seem to be with the machine gun bullets. The shotgun will not register a combo, as we saw right there. And dogs, completely out of nowhere. Another rather odd facet to this particular stage is that I guess since the floor was metal, they couldn't actually animate zombies coming out of the floor all the time. So you'll be noticing quite a bit that zombies appear to be just falling out of the sky. And I'm not really sure where they might be coming from or how they explain the falling out of the sky bit, but you know, Necrovision. I'm sure there's vents up there dropping in dead bodies to fuel their furnaces. I don't know. But another small drawback of the ice bullet is that some of these faster enemies, like the Barbies, that are already in fairly quick motion, you'll hit them with an ice bullet, and instead of completely incapacitating them, they'll actually still continue to move at you, even though they're frozen. So that's a bit confusing. But here we go, using the ice bullet to take out the crushing machine. I honestly have no idea how that works, but we have a boss now. Oh, fuck. It's the guy from stage 3? Stage 4? I think it was stage 4. That we didn't really get a good look at before, but apparently his name is Skelethor. Yeah, the wheelchair-bound, machine gun, cannonball lobbing skeleton is named Skelethor. And I am getting a bit distracted here by these vampires. They actually will spawn infinitely. I'm mostly hitting them to keep my life up and to get up Fury meter. But they actually don't spawn consistently enough to keep a Fury meter going all the way up. But I'm going to be seeing a little bit of an exploit here that I only found out about recently, but the Flaming Skull spell that you have with the Fireball hand, for some reason has an additional effect on mechanical enemies. Now you'll see here that Skelethor has quite a bit of life left, and he's dead. Yeah, the Flaming Skull will instantly kill pretty much any of the mechanical enemies that you'll run into, even though they are very few and far between. We'll be seeing that exploit again later on in the stage. I'm not actually sure what causes it. I don't think it's intended. But yeah, a few more of these flying probes that we saw Zimmerman using during the Scorpion tank fight. They're more of an annoyance, especially when they come at you in droves, because they will come at you in like groups of 20, which we will be seeing later on, in which added to a death that we won't be seeing. And down here is
another great cave of the underworld, just like in the myths. the bridge between worlds is gone.
Such a poetic description. I did not think you capable of such things.
Yeah, like I was saying before I was interrupted with talks of myths, we have another secret, which was a vampire artifact and some more ammunition for all of our weapons. And we had a little probe waiting for us, but we took him out. Yeah, the mentioning of myths is not really gone into, and you know, the entire theme of the last stage, which was called the Crystal Chamber, was not ever really seen.
Looks like that was his last stop.
Those trains, the Mole Riders, they are vital for the vampire species to exist. They are a merging of technology.
How does that matter to me?
I am merely attempting to educate you, Master.
Why don't you ask me if I care?
Yeah, Simon is still a massive asshole. He really does not care to learn about these mole bitches. He'd rather just murder them because that's what they want to do to him. So, alright, so apparently this is the Mole Temple that's worshipped by the vampires, even though vampires and moles are two different things. I don't know.
What's with the sun symbols? Sunlight all the way down here? Is this someone's idea of a sick joke?
It represents a race memory of the past. When the Earth was young, the old races lived below the surface. But the wars came, and some were driven deep, never to return. Those that remained on the surface, in the light of the sun, were changed, made human.
What are you saying?
This is your world as well as ours. A long time ago, they were one.
Alright, so vampires and humans are the same thing. It's just that evolution caused the sunlight to turn us into human beings.
Touch of class, a nice smart doorman. What do you want, a tip?
Oh jeez, these lines are so wonderful. But yeah, we're getting a bit more poorly thought out storyline here. So vampires are not really our enemy so much as they are us, except we somehow continue to live on the surface while they got stuck underground, and there were mole people, but the mole people are different, except the vampire species was only able to survive because of merging with the mole people's technologies. I guess that sounds right. Or it's all completely nonsense and they actually didn't have a story at all. As I was saying before, we got this whole plot twist. So the whole Crystal Chamber stage never even had a Crystal Chamber. The Crystal Chamber didn't actually come up till the opening cinematic for the next stage, to which we were greeted by a vampire ghost, I assume? I mean, we haven't really seen any vampires without all of the gas masks and things like that on, so we don't actually know what they look like without them, or how they harnessed gorgons, or I think they just randomly picked stuff they thought was cool and went with it. But yeah, there was another small, possibly dangerous ambush that I easily took care of, because thankfully this time I remembered that the razor just totally murders the gorgons. And before I head over to the laser grid and the end of the video, we got one more secret over here, which is actually both a bitch to find and a bitch to survive, as after we get through that fire that was hurting us and the smoke, we are then greeted by more gorgons and these fiery manta rays, both of which do a good amount of damage, and there's next to no room in here to properly maneuver. And for our troubles, we get a piece of armor, another vampire artifact, which are both very well received. And with that, we will get our way back across this rubble, and we'll finish the video in front of this laser grid after I manage the treacherous aggro crag here. Just making sure I'm topped off with some health orbs out of these conveniently placed vases. And with that, we are at the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and join me in part 2. This is Nigroth, signing off.